Hi, I'm Patty. Welcome to ADHD-Friendly. I'm an ADHD coach, and I love finding ways to work with my ADHD, not against it. And so what I bring to this podcast are those life lessons that I'm learning along the way. And I hope that by sharing them here on this podcast and YouTube channel, they can support you to struggle less and thrive more as well. If you would like more support, I invite you to check out my ADHD-Friendly membership at ADHD-Friendly.com. ADHD-Friendly is where ADDers get more things done. All right, this week, episode 208, I am celebrating a new membership. I can't believe it, but I did. I have signed up for a new membership, and I'm going to talk about that. I'm also going to share a ADHD-friendly tip about how to support your future self with exercise notes. I'm going to talk about what that looks like and share some examples. And then I'm going to dive into our main topic, which is some ADHD-friendly fitness tips. So if fitness, exercise, overall health is on your list of things you would like more of in your life, this is your episode. Let's dive in. Related to the overall theme of this episode, I signed up for a new membership. I've talked about this in previous episodes, and I have done it. I've done the thing I did not want to do. I avoid it at all costs, but I've done it. I joined a gym. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud, but I did. So here's why. I've shared for over a year, probably a couple of years now, I've been trying to incorporate some weight training into my fitness routine. I've had good success with my yoga routine. I've had good success with my walking daily overall. I've had some bumps in the way with the walking with the heat and the dark mornings, but it's still a pretty solid routine that has not fallen off to a degree that I don't feel like I'm doing it regularly. But I have not been able to incorporate the weights, the weight training, and I do want to stay strong and physically fit. And especially, as the years melt quickly away, I want to be able to maintain my strength as much as I can. And I know that weight training is a major piece that's missing. So I tried to do it on my own. I've tried, just like little like hand weights. I've tried the resistance bands. I've tried, my husband got me weights that you can adjust. They're, just, I don't remember what they're called, but they're just like weights that it's all in one. So I don't have to like choose different dumbbells and different things. It was just, you just adjust the setting on the weight and it becomes heavier. It's I'm sure if you know what I'm talking about, I butchered that description completely, but it's the needing to implement the structure on my own that's really, really challenging for me. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm afraid I'm going to hurt myself. I'm not very motivated in the moment to do something that I don't really want to do. I know I need to do it, but I don't want to do it. And that's a real challenge for those of us with ADHD. We know what we need to do. We might even know how to do it, but we're still struggling to do it. And that's where I was. And I said, if I couldn't figure this out, I was going to outsource my accountability by paying for a gym. And so that really motivated me to try to figure it out on my own. And the conclusion I came to in the middle of September was, I'm not doing it. And I don't see anything changing anytime soon. So I talked to my husband and asked for his help because I know I'm not just going to walk into a gym and start using the equipment. I really don't like gyms. I have a very negative association with gyms. So I made it really clear. I set some nice boundaries for myself around what I would and would not do. And I told him when I joined, because my husband, love him, but he's a really, really, really intense gym person, goes pretty much every day and is very dedicated to it. And I appreciate that, but that's not what I'm looking for. So I made it really clear. I want to go 2 days a week consistently. I don't want to go more than that. I want to be able to leave the house and do the workout and be back home an hour door to door, because I know my limits and I know what I can and cannot fit into my established schedule without it getting derailed. And so we toured a couple of local gyms and chose one that wasn't the closest to us, but had kind of a feel to it. The one that we went to that's really close by was really dark and it felt very confining and enclosed, and I just didn't have this pull that I was feeling, kind of like interest and novelty pulling me into it. The other was a little bit further of a drive, and that's why I told him, I said, I still want to keep this to the hour, so it's going to be a shorter workout, which it's fine for me. This one's about 8 to 10 minutes. Pardon me, I have a hair in my eye that's driving me crazy. So that would mean, on average, a 40-minute workout at the gym. So, but that one was offering a free month of October if you joined before the end of September. And it's also was month to month. The other one required a year commitment. So lots of things for the one a little further away going for it. So we decided to go month to month and we get the free month of October. And so I'm using October as my trial month. I can quit at the end of October and not pay for another month if I don't love it. And so my celebration is not that I joined the gym, because I've done that before in my life and I just never go. It's that I went. So I've gone one time. And so remember, I record this a couple of weeks in advance. So when I record this, it's October 1st. Hence if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, you see I've got my Snoopy Halloween t-shirt on, very intentionally, because it's October 1st. And October 1st is something to celebrate every single time in my life, because it's for me, the full-on beginning of fall. It doesn't feel like it here, which is why I'm also wearing a t-shirt, but it's the very beginning of the month. And I went once, we joined, and then we went the next day. And so I've done a workout. I actually noticed, and it could just be that I felt really good about having done it, but I yesterday had more energy and more positive kind of feeling and confidence about myself just from that 40-minute weight workout than I even imagined. Like, I didn't even think about that being a possible outcome, but it literally boosted me the rest of the day. And I was really tempted to try to go again today, which is really weird, but I'm keeping to my commitment to go twice and just see how that is, because I don't want to overwhelm myself and kind of derail my plan. I know myself well enough to know what I can and can't do and what's sustainable. So I'm celebrating that I've started, that it was a positive experience, that my husband honored my boundary with the door-to-door for an hour, which I was surprised, because I thought once we were there, we would try to let's just do one more thing. And so I'm super excited that I asked for what I needed. I'm doing it, and I'll continue to update here, because that accountability is really key for me. And joining the gym is one, but coming back here and sharing how it's going is another way that I am making this work for my own way of supporting my brain to thrive. So there's my celebration, feeling really good. All right, so what I purchased this week, not a lot, which is good, but I did purchase these little K-cloths. They're koala claws. So if you wear eyeglasses, sunglasses, readers, any kind of corrective eyeglass wear or sunglasses, glasses of any type, these little wipes, I bought them in a 4-pack from Amazon. They're called Koala Lens Cleaning Cloths. They were $10.99 for 4. I've seen them cheaper since I bought them, so I don't know if the price fluctuates, but they come in that little pouch and they just unfold into a decent size cloth. They come in a few different colors. I actually like the other colors better than the color I got, but they work really, really well. And I wear glasses for distance vision, and I like to have one of these on my desk and in my car and in my purse. And by where I sit if I'm watching TV. So having them in multiples is really handy for me. And I just love the way that they really effortlessly and really clearly clean my glasses. Sometimes the wipes I get, they just seem to move around the fingerprint oil and dust and dirt. And these really did clean it up. And they wash them by hand with warm water and you hang them to air dry. So easy to use and keep up with, low maintenance. So if you are looking for some new cleaning cloths, just sharing my experience with these. Your experience may be different, as always with anything that I share, but I really am enjoying these. So that's my product of the week. And it's also the only thing I purchased, which is good. I have a pillow update I've shared in the last couple of episodes. I am trying out 3 different pillows in my research for side sleeping pillows. We have narrowed it down, and next week I anticipate having the results of our test. My husband and I are both side sleepers, and we have been trying out the pillows. He is my blind tester. He has no idea which ones are which. I know which ones are which. And I think decided on my favorite, and I'm pretty sure which one is his, but we're going to give it another week trial, and then I'm going to come back with my results next week. All right, on for my tip for this week. And that is in line with the whole fitness theme, to take exercise notes to support your future self. So just a couple of quick examples of what I mean, and I'm going to show you some visuals. So again, if you're listening to this episode, I invite you to check out my YouTube channel, ADHD-Friendly, to see the examples of the things I'm sharing in this episode. So my husband has a notebook that he records all of his workouts in. So that's his version of taking notes. He'll write it down. He'll check it off as he does it. He did it for me yesterday. He was like, you need to get yourself a notebook. So apparently now I need to get myself a notebook since I joined a gym. But I understood what he meant when we went to the gym yesterday, and I kept taking pictures of the machines after I did something. He said, what are you doing? I said, I'm taking a picture of the machine I used and the weight that was on the machine, so I'll remember for next time. He's like, well, that's what the notebook's for. And I think I would need a combo of maybe a little sketch of the machine or something, so I'd remember what it was, because he knows what they're all called. I don't. So I think there's again, a way to make it work for our individual brains when you think about taking notes that will help you. My example from my yoga habit is I have just in my notes app on my iPhone, I have a list of the Yoga with Adriene routines that I like. I list what the routine is, if it's part of like her 30-day yoga routines, which series it's in. I list the name of the routine. I list the amount of time the routine takes. So I know if it's a morning I'm traveling, or if it's a morning I have an early client, I pick one with a shorter amount of time to make sure that I'm working with the time I have in the morning to do the routine that keeps it consistent. And then I give it a star rating. So if I didn't like it, I'm not going to do it again, but I won't remember whether or not I liked it just from a picture and a title on the screen when I'm picking a yoga routine to do. They all look so familiar over time that these notes really help me. And then I also know if I really liked something, but there was something in it I couldn't do. I had found that really sparkly over the years, because something I couldn't do, when I go back to it months or years later, if I can do it now, it's such a great aha and a great celebration for me to see that progress. Like, oh, I can do that now. That was something I couldn't do when I first did this. So again, these are just examples to support your future self when you're trying to build in a fitness routine. One of the reasons I took pictures of the machines yesterday and the weights that I was doing is because for a lot of them, they were like the lowest weight setting they could be on for me to do it. Because like I said, I haven't done weight training, and my husband, like the very first thing, he set the machine at a weight. He goes, "This is probably going to be too easy for you." Well, it wasn't too easy. It was actually too hard. We had to adjust it, make it a lower weight. And I was kind of embarrassed. I was like, oh my gosh, like, are you kind of, surprised that I wasn't able to do the weight that you thought would be too easy? And he was like, oh, it is, you are where you are, and we're just going to, start here and build up. But I wanted to remember that, because I know from my other notes that what I could do or couldn't do changes over time. It strengthens, and it gets where I might not be as inflexible as I was. Maybe I'm still not able to do, a full split or something, but I am a lot more flexible than I was. So it's all about acknowledging progress. So I've shared in a previous episode that in the winter time, I made a tool because it's really cold here in the Chicago area in the winter of what this is for my morning walks. And I put down what the temperature is. And depending on the temperature range, I have a little chart that tells me what do I need to wear to be comfortable outside. And then I have a note that if it's below 10 degrees or if it's below 20 and windy, I don't walk, to remind myself. It's miserable not to do it. But I have everything from just a coat and gloves, coat, gloves, and earmuffs, all the way down to I need double pants, I need a neck scarf and a face scarf, I need foot warmers and hand warmers. Like, it just lets me easily remember what do I need depending on what the feels like temperature is. So that I have posted by where my hats and scarves are right there on the wall, so I can see it easily and it reminds me what to do. And the new chart I made came out of my awareness, and I've shared how I've kind of struggled this summer and early fall with my morning walk routine because it was so hot in the summertime. I had to get out super early and I had to adjust my alarm to make sure that happened. Well, late August into right now, I'm still experiencing it's too dark in the morning when my alarm goes off to walk comfortably. I don't like walking when it's really dark out in the morning. I like there to be a little light. I don't want to worry about, cars hitting me or not seeing where I'm going. So I made myself a new chart, and I'm still tweaking this. It's just a beginning one, but I realized I can make notes, and I've shared before, I love a spreadsheet. So now I kind of have notes for what it's like June through mid-August. So I have tips for when it's hot and reminding myself, you need to walk early. Late in the day, it's still too hot. So not to put it off. I need to get out and do it first thing. And then late August to early fall, before daylight savings time starts, I need to be mindful that it's still warm, but it's also darker in the morning. So I've got some tips for what I can do and alternatives if it's too dark in the morning and it's going to be too hot later on. So I built in some different ways that get me out of that all or nothing thinking. And so it's, I can do maybe a walk when it's darker, when it's later in the day, because it's still not getting dark super early. So I can go later when it cools down, or I can walk on my treadmill and get my outdoor time sitting on the porch, checking out the birds. Or if I still belong to my gym, I can go to my gym and walk the indoor track. And again, sit outside, garden a bit, do something else to get my outdoor time that isn't requiring me to walk. So I've got those options written down, and now I'm adding more details I added fields for November through March, reminding me because I don't remember what did I do when it was dark in the winter? These are the things my brain does not hold on to. So I thought I'll just do that. And then I have one from March through May. I don't remember anything about March through May. That's completely gone. So I realized having a new chart to capture these details will again support me through the seasons to walk with more ease, because I'll remember what I did from the past to support my future self going forward. So that's my tip. Take exercise notes to support your future self to be able to continue with your fitness goals. Right, so that leads me into my main topic, which is just some ADHD-friendly fitness tips to help you to lean into what fitness means for you. So I want to start by sharing that research shows that exercise is good for people with ADHD. It leads to it's good for everyone, but it really does support ADHD brains. It leads to improved executive function skills like planning and impulse control, and improved working memory, which anything that improves my working memory, sign me up. It also increases our positive neurochemicals like dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin. And here's the thing that I just love. It reduces our stress and our overwhelm. So it's calming while building up those positive neurochemicals. It's a great combo. But many people with ADHD do find it challenging to create structure and routines around exercising consistently. And this happens because of, I alluded to it a minute ago with myself, the all or nothing thinking. So if I set a goal to go outside 25 minutes every day in 2025, I have a really hard time if I can't do 25. That's that all or nothing. So it's like, well, it's too warm, I'm not going to walk. Well, maybe I can go outside and I can tolerate it for 3 to 5 minutes. And I can do that a couple of times throughout the day. I have a really hard time starting and stopping, but I could do 5 minutes. And even if I never did it again later in the day, 5 minutes is more than nothing. So reminding ourselves that when that all or nothing black and white thinking shows up, what else is possible? Opening up that gray area. So if I can't do it every day, it's still worth starting. Just like my gym example, twice a week is enough for me. That is a huge win compared to none. So something is more than nothing, and getting out of that all or nothing thinking. We also struggle with time blindness. So we'll over or underestimate how long something will take. And even like with the gym, I was timing when we were driving to the different gyms we were looking at to see how long it would take to get there. And I was being really clear that I wouldn't extend the amount of time I was willing to spend at the gym because the drive was longer. I want an hour door to door, and I just know that's my limit. I won't do it if it's going to take longer than that. So what can you fit in the time you have, and use a timer to support that time blindness. We also have a really hard time getting started. Often getting started is harder than the exercise. So make that entry point zero entry. Think of those zero entry pools. They have like the beachfront kind of beginning to the pool. Instead of having to jump in, you can just put your toe in. Think of that when you're thinking of what would get you started. So instead of I'm going to go and run for a mile or 2 miles or whatever you're thinking, maybe it's I'm going to put my shoes on and go stand outside. Something is more than nothing, and getting started is really key. So find the smallest way to get started. For me, it's putting the yoga mat on the floor and sitting on it. That's it. If I sit on the yoga mat, I'm going to start. But if I think about how long the routine is I'm trying to get myself to do, and I really do just need to do it, like all of that gets in my head and I won't do it. We also struggle with boredom, because remember, novelty will wear off after a while. So it's like, oh my gosh, I struggle with this with my walking. I walk pretty much, everything that I'm passing is familiar. So I have to challenge myself creatively to look for new things. The change of seasons really helps. People that decorate for the holidays really help because it gives me something else to look at. So our motivation is really impacted by boredom. So find ways to create that interest for your brain, and then limit the amount of deciding and planning required. So just like I shared, I tell my husband I'll go twice a week, period. And I'm literally intentionally trying to plan like what's sustainable, because I don't want to add something else that I have to create a whole plan around every week. I want something I can decide once and rinse and repeat. So choose what you're going to wear, choose what you're going to do, and choose when you're going to do it. As much as possible, keep them consistent. Or like I shared a minute ago, use a chart that helps you. You've already decided if it's this temperature, I wear this, or if it's dark outside, these are my options. I've already thought through and captured, so I don't have to put that expectation on my brain to make another decision about it. All right, here's a few more tips. As always with anything, do what works for you, leave the rest behind. And if you are not doing anything fitness wise, or you're trying to increase your fitness, always consult with a doctor beforehand to make sure whatever you're going to implement is the right thing for you and your body and where you are. So that's just my little disclaimer, because I don't want to, have somebody like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm so like fired up. I'm going to go. Pause, check, make sure that what you're going to be doing is safe so that you don't get hurt, because that's going to get in the way of your fitness goals as well. All right. So here is just a few tips that might help you to start or strengthen a fitness routine. One, lower the bar to start. So I just talked about that. So if you pick out what you're going to wear the night before, keep your plan really simple. Mine is always like put the shoes in front of the door. So if I go to open the door, the shoes are there. It reminds me like, why are my shoes here? Oh, that's right. I need to walk. So like I literally put them on when I go to take my dogs out, because the shoes being on reminds me you're going to keep going. Keep it stupid small. So that one push-up a day example is a great one, or one sit-up a day. If you get down on the floor and you do one push-up, that's more than nothing. Keep it really small. You can always do more, but keep it so small, there's no way you won't do it. Maybe you're just going to do a 30-second dance party, get yourself a little button, dance 30 seconds, whatever it is. Number 2, inject interest. Interest is like fuel for our brain. If we have a brand new car with no gas in it, it's not going to go. It doesn't matter that it works perfectly fine. There's no gas to get it going. And it takes so much effort to push that thing. That's what it's like for our brain that's bored. We need to create interest. So pair what you're trying to do with something fun. Maybe you've got some upbeat music. Maybe you're listening to a podcast or an audiobook that you just save for when you're doing the workout. And then in episode 207, I shared a tip called be effortful before effortless. So maybe you want to watch the news or have your coffee in the morning, but you commit to doing 1 minute of something before. So you might do a yoga pose for 1 minute. You might do some sit-ups for a minute, but 1 minute of something before the effortless thing. So a little effort before the effortless. Number 3, tap into accountability. So maybe you find a walking buddy. I always used to say to get myself out of the house to walk in the morning when it was just me I was accountable to was just too tall of an order. And when I had someone I was walking with and I knew that we agreed to meet, say at 7 a.m. at the corner, of the street that meets our houses, I know that person's going to be out there. There's no way I'm not going to be out there. Like, it will absolutely get me out of bed without any need to hit the pause I'm up because I don't want that person waiting for me and me not there. That really worked for me. You can do this virtually as well. I've had virtual workout buddies over the years, and that works beautifully, where you just both agree we're either going to be walking on a treadmill or, because you might be in different places with different weather and you just can't meet in person, but you can still have that connection and you have somebody to talk to. And if I'm talking to someone, it is like I'm not exercising. It's the best. Or you can simply text a family member when you're done your workout, like, hey, I went to the gym, just got back from the gym, or I just did my walk or whatever it is. So you're checking in, that accountability. Or like I just did, you pay for a gym membership, or you can hire a trainer, those things that you're committing to with your money, and maybe to somebody specifically if you're hiring a trainer. Something that ups that accountability can work. Number 4, fitness is the focus, not workout. So think about the language you're using for what you're trying to create, and keep in mind that something is more than nothing. So fitness to me feels lighter and more positive than workout. Workout sounds heavy and daunting. So it might just be your plan is to have more fitness in your life. So you're going to move more. That's it. It's your move time. So you're going to dance. You're going to walk the dog. You're going to clean the house, something to get you moving and active instead of working out if that doesn't work for you. Just 2 more tips. Number 5 is to focus on creating an ADHD-friendly routine. And by that, it's something that's sustainable. That's what I mean. So walk 5 minutes a day is a lot more sustainable than walk every single day. You might do it once or twice, but then you'll never do it again. So we want something that's so small you can do it every day, because it's the consistency we're going for. You can always walk more, but make it small enough that you can build the consistency. And then piggyback on existing habits. So if you're watching TV, maybe you move during the commercials or between episodes. Like if it's going to fire up another episode right away, you hit pause and you do some squats or some sit-ups or walk around your property, parking lot, whatever. So the main message here is customize, customize, customize. Make it work for you, whether it's a solo or a team sport. I personally hate gyms, which is why I can't believe I'm saying I joined one. But again, it's because I wasn't able to do it on my own. It doesn't mean I'm broken. It just means I recognized I needed that accountability, that external support. So what does that look like for you? Do you like to walk or do you like to run? Do you like yoga or do you want to go to a spin class? Do you want to do a yoga in a class environment or yoga on your own with a video? Do you like, solo things, or do you like to do them in groups? Think about what it is that would pull you in and keep you going. It's sustainable. And then document what works in your palm. My tools for my workout do go in my palm, but I also have it printed out on the wall, because if I have to go look inside my physical personal owner's manual to find that document, that's going to take too long and I'm going to resist it. So keep what you need visible so you can use it. And remember, Start super small, inject some fun and novelty, and something is always more than nothing. But start by confirming what you're going to do is something you can do safely without hurting yourself. Check with your doctor before implementing a new fitness routine into your life. All right, finally, we're there. I'm on the book of the week. And this week's book is Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. This is by Jessie Q. Sutanto. I cannot say her name. Sutanto. I don't know. Sorry, Jessie. I'm just so bad at pronouncing names. And this was recommended to me by a friend. It's about an old lady who lives in San Francisco above a forgotten tea shop that she runs. And one morning she comes down to open up her little shop and discovers a dead body on the floor. The police are called in to investigate and they rule it an accident. But Vera decides that she can do a better job than the police did investigating this because she suspects foul play. And she begins her own investigation to find a murderer. I gave this a 4 out of 5. It was fun. It had lightness to it. It had really good character development. It was just a fun, light read. This just came out in April, so it's a newer book. And there's also a sequel. I'm sorry, the sequel just came out in April. This one came out, I think it's a couple of years old. But there's a second book in the series called Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on a Dead Man. And it wasn't quite as good. I gave that one a 3.5 out of 5 stars. That came out in April. But the first one was really enjoyable. The second one, maybe because I read them back to back, I think if there was a little bit more time in between, I probably would have given it the same rating, but I was a little fatigued by the characters. So I gave it a 3.5 out of 5, but still really fun reads. All right, my final thing is my quote for the week, and this is from Marvin Williams. And Marvin says, the difference between try and triumph is the little ump. Love that. All right, that's it for this week. If you have tips to share related to what's worked for you to establish a fitness routine in your life, this is episode 208. Would love to hear what you have found works in your life. That's it for now. I'll see you next time. Tally ho.